The most beautiful and terrifying manifestation of nature's fury are thunderstorms. When I was a kid, I was absolutely frightened of them. I would seek refuge under my blankets, armed with a flashlight, whenever a severe storm approached. The loud booms of thunder were constantly blamed by my mom as the source of my distress. Although that made sense, I've never experienced any discomfort while watching movies, including loud explosions or fireworks. Deep down, I just thought the storm was trying to tell me something. Up until very recently, the concept appeared ridiculous to me as I got older. That is, until the spring storm reintroduced my fear. My kid Alex's piano recital was in Seattle, so my partner and I went there. Because I was required to be on site for work, I had the entire facility to myself. Upon returning from work, I changed into my most relaxed attire and turned on the television to enjoy a night of basketball and action flicks. A severe weather alert has just aired on the news. Attention all viewers, in just a few hours, a big thunderstorm will be moving through the area, so please exercise extreme caution. As long as the storm didn't ruin my evening, I didn't care whether it was raging outside. 2 hours later, I was completely engrossed in my Lakers game when a bolt of lightning struck the sky with the force of an atomic bomb, destroying my power. My one night alone would be spent in the dark, and I cringed at the sight of the vacant chamber. As soon as I felt the need, I sighed and rushed to the refrigerator to get something cold to drink. As the storm raged outside the window, I did nothing more than sip my drink and watch. This storm was just as severe as the forecast had warned. Whirling winds ripped limbs and leaves from the trees. Lightning flashed across the sky every few seconds, accompanied by a resounding boom that sounded like a giant's footsteps. Reminiscent of a game I used to play as a kid, I started timing the time between the flash and boom. The impending storm was closing in rapidly and would soon be directly above me. I felt the creeping presence of my childhood dread as that idea transported me back in time. As the wind whistled, it started to sound like spectral groaning. Like enormous claws, the tree branches beckoned to me. Despite my best efforts to convince myself that I was being ridiculous, I found myself fixated on the woodland ahead of me, as if searching for something. I felt as though something was peering back at me from behind the trembling branches as I peered into them. I wanted to run upstairs and hide beneath the blankets more and more. My heart nearly leaped out of my skull when a deafening screech echoed through the house. It was only after a brief pause that I realized it was a video call's ringer. I couldn't help but grin and smile at my own naivete. I was still able to use my service even when the power was down. When I picked up the phone, my lovely partner and Alex were there to greet me. As a result of their cheerful faces, I was able to shake off the storm and act like the level-headed adult I should have been. They were worried about me since they had heard about the storm. They filled me in on every detail of their journey after I reassured them that I was okay. I was elated for Alex the next day when he learned that his team had made it to the championship game. While my travel companion used the restroom, Alex kept regaling me with tales of the amazing sights he had seen. All I did was listen to him while grinning. He became perplexed and began to gaze at the window directly behind me all of a sudden. "Daddy, who's that out there?" I was left with a no-signal screen after the conversation abruptly ended, just as Alex was about to begin. Too bad, I was now stranded there without access to electricity or a phone. Another bolt of lightning illuminated the sky as I whirled around to assess the storm's advancement. I thought I saw someone in the backyard during that brief flash, which didn't last more than a second. Another flash lit up the sky moments after I shook my head in disbelief at the absurdity of the situation. Someone was standing between the trees this time. It was obvious his long, dark green cloak and black hat were the only details I could make out in my fleeting vision of him. The figure had moved closer to the home as another burst of lightning illuminated the sky. With his long, gray hair, I could tell he was in his late 80s. Back then, I had no clue who might be there. The woods were on private land and somewhat tiny. The rain and thunder would make any reasonable person stay indoors. A second burst of lightning was followed nearly instantly by a crack of thunder. Aside from the approaching storm, the elderly individual who had just appeared behind my fence was also drawing near. A second flash came seconds after the first. Stranger number 2 was standing in my backyard at this point. The unbelievable nature of what I saw caused me to quickly withdraw my gaze from the window. In spite of the gloom, the figure should have been visible in some way, but alas, it remained elusive. The individual at the base of my deck stairs was anything but ordinary as another bolt of lightning swept across my entire yard, illuminating it. The monster had deep ridges, a mouthful of sharp fangs, and grayish-purple skin. As it locked onto me, its eyes blazed with a hypnotic purple light. I hurriedly made my way upstairs, my heart racing with fear. I took cover in my bedroom, but the creature's shadow, with its long hair and clawed hands, became even more apparent when another bolt of lightning exploded. I dove beneath my covers, trying desperately to shield myself from the oncoming storm and the monster outside. The following morning, the storm had subsided, and the first rays of sunlight cast my anxieties in a different light. My suspicions were rekindled, though, when a neighbor's window bore claw marks and a corpse was found across the street. My roof shingles bore my childhood nickname, an eerie warning that the storm, and maybe the monster, could come again at any moment.